Measuring a staircase for Harmar stairway lift is a simple process, but it's important that it's done right. Start by measuring from the top nose to the bottom nose. Measure from the point of the top nose that the tape measure rests upon. Then measure from the top nose to the bottom landing floor. Make sure the tip of the tape measure reaches to the bottom landing floor. Now measure the rise and the run of the steps. Use something flat like a book so you get a square measure of the rise. Here you see how two flat objects are necessary to get a square measurement of the run. If there's an obstruction like a door at one of the landings, you need to measure the distance from the top nose, the distance to the door, and how far out from the wall it is. If there's an obstruction like a handrail or window, you have to measure how far out from the wall it protrudes because the stair lift has to be installed 2 inches out from the obstruction. Harmar stairway lifts, renowned for their quality and reliability, are also the fastest and easiest to install. All you need is a Phillips screwdriver, a 3/8, 7/16, and 9/16 open-end wrench, a 5/32 Allen wrench, and a drill with a 3/8 inch socket, a 1/4 inch socket, and an 8 inch extension. Your Harmar stairway lift arrives in 3 boxes. Check each one for damage and report to the freight carrier immediately if there is any. The seat box weighs 31 pounds. The main unit box weighs 115 pounds, so use a dolly or get assistance when maneuvering it. The track can weigh between 40 and 80 pounds depending on the length. Take the seat and unit boxes to the top landing and set them aside while you install the track. The instructions are inside the unit box. Along with them you get a slack cable reset tool, 2 screws for securing the power cable to the track, and an owner's manual. At the bottom of the stairs, open the track box and take out the track, brackets, and small parts package. You should find track brackets, bracket bolts, wood screws, and the call control cord with a connector bracket. Lay the track on the stairs with the metal end plate at the bottom. Set something under the bottom end of the rail to raise it 1/2 to 3/4 inch from the lower landing. This prevents the track from hitting the floor when the brackets are tightened. Fasten brackets to the track channel on the bottom step and hand tighten. The bottom bracket gets installed inside the bottom nut. Leave the second to the bottom nut unused. It'll be used later. It's easier to do this with the track setting out from the wall. It's easy to slide it up against the wall later. Splice bars are used to join the track sections. Loosen the set screws and pull the splice bar out halfway. Tighten to hold in place. Slide the other section of track onto the exposed splice bar and tighten the set screws. Note the track will not slide onto the splice bars if the set screws are protruding. Be careful not to put your fingers between the 2 sections of track at any time or injury could occur. Now attach track brackets, 1 pair above and 1 pair below where the track splices. not remove the foam packing beside the embedded nuts. Now you're ready to slide the track up against the wall or molding. The brackets are designed to position the unit the required 2 inches from the wall. Please note, if there's an obstruction such as a windowsill or handrail, the track needs to be positioned 2 inches out from the obstruction. If your lift was ordered with the optional wide seat, the track needs to be positioned 3 1/2 inches from the wall or obstruction. Now it's time to install the lower call control wire bracket. It goes on the second nut up from the bottom of the wall side of the track. Route the wire through the top channel of the wall side of the track. At the top of the middle section, tuck the wire underneath the track out of the way. You'll finish routing this wire after the top section of the track is in place. To install the unit and upper track section, slide it to the edge of the steps and splice this section of track together like you did with the previous sections. Be sure to tighten the set screws. The packing bracket has to be removed before attempting to operate the lift. It's held in place with 2 bolts. Attach track brackets to the upper track section and hand tighten. The track is designed to rest on the step noses, but not all steps are built to a consistent height. This is not a problem. The lift can be completely supported by the track brackets. Now, lay the chain and cable in the track, allowing it to extend a little more than halfway down. Check every chain link. If unsnapped, the chain will not bend correctly. Tuck one side of the traveling cable inside the bottom channel of the track. Note how the power cable faces in towards the channel. Now, feed the other side of the cable into the opposite channel. Pull down on the cable to remove any slack and screw the power cable bracket into the track. Now it's time to connect the power cable. For AC units, plug the power cable into the upper side track cover outlet and plug it into the wall. The green light should light up. If it doesn't, check the circuit breaker under the green light. For DC units, the batteries need to be connected before the unit is installed. It's a simple procedure outlined in the owner's manual. The upper and lower limit cams are safety devices that automatically stop the unit at each landing. The lower limit cam is installed against the unit to hold it in place during shipping. Loosen it. Butt it up against the bottom track cover and then tighten. The call controls are easy to install. First, finish routing the call control wire through the upper section of track and plug it into one of the two connectors on the upper track cover. Plug one of the call control boxes into the other connector. Then do the same for the lower call control box. During shipping, the slack cable device may engage and may need to be reset. The slack cable device is a safety system that prevents the lift from running if there's not enough tension on the cable. To reset, use the hand crank to turn the cable drum clockwise. When you see the unit move uphill or hear a click, that means the slack cable device has been reset. Another way to reset the slack cable device is to pull the cable until you hear the click and see the cable become taut. The seat has to be installed before you can move the upper limit cam to its proper place. Remove the backrest screws, then attach the backrest at the desired height and retighten the screws. Now, remove the 4 screws on the top of the unit. Be careful not to drop the screws inside the unit. Set the seat on top of the unit chassis. Then tip the seat to locate the control wire. Attach the wiring harness. Align the seat and secure it with the same 4 screws. Now it's time to check the seat leveling. If it's not level, loosen the 4 hex head screws as shown and leverage the arms until the seat is level. Then retighten the same screws. Note these screws can only be loosened, not removed. These screws also serve to loosen the chassis so it aligns itself when needed. Now it's time to set the upper limit cam. First, lower the unit about a foot using the control switch on the armrest. Then, loosen the cam, slide it up against the upper track cover, and tighten. Now it's time to test your work. Without sitting on the unit, use the armrest controls to run the unit short distances in both directions. The lift is designed so it will not run unless the seat is facing forward and the swivel lock is in place. Check to make sure the footrest safety is working. If it comes in contact with an object, the unit will not run until the object is removed. Check to make sure the upper limit switch works. Then check the lower limit switch. Make sure the owner-operator reads the owner's manual before riding the lift or allowing anyone else to ride it. Now your Harmar Stairway lift is ready to give you years of reliable service.